The series starts with the Squid Game, named for the drawing on the ground resembling a squid with its twisting shape. Two groups face off, attackers and defenders. The defender can run on both legs, but if an attacker enters the drawing, they can run too. The attacker, known as the secret inspector, aims to reach the head of the squid drawing. If a defender can push them out, the attacker is eliminated. However, if the attacker reaches the head, they win. This is the Squid Game. We meet Seung, an unemployed, unsuccessful man living with his mother, relying on her support. Unable to pay off the loan he squandered, Seung tries to use his mother's credit card to withdraw money but fails. Desperate, he keeps trying various birthday numbers until he hits his daughter's birthday and uses the winnings to place a bet on a horse race. For the first time in his life, he wins, giving a tip to the receptionist. However, due to his misfortune, a pickpocket steals his money, and Seung is later confronted by debt collectors. They force him to sign a waiver, allowing them to take his organs if he doesn't repay his debts by the month's end. Seung, now penniless, tries to play a gift-hunting game to get his daughter a birthday present, but fails repeatedly. A young boy helps him win a gift, which turns out to be a lighter shaped like a gun. His daughter is happy, even though it's a simple gift, and Seung promises her a better one next year. Before parting, his daughter seems to want to say something but holds back. Seung then takes her to her mother's house. While riding a train, Seung encounters a man offering to play a game called the Ducky Game, where two cartoon pieces are involved. If you hit the one on the ground with the one in your hand, you win. The man offers Seung 100,000 won if he wins. Seung fails but then gets beaten by the man when he loses, despite trying repeatedly. Afterward, Seung learns the man can help him earn money and reveals his financial troubles. He owes millions to a bank and a loan shark. Seung gives him his contact card. Later, Seung buys dinner for his mother, who reveals that his ex-wife and daughter will be moving to America. Seung is reminded of his daughter's quiet moments and, after a restless night, decides to contact the man and join the game. He meets the man at a designated location, gets into a car, and falls unconscious due to sleeping gas. Seung wakes up in a large space surrounded by other participants, all wearing uniforms. He is assigned number 456. They are all under surveillance, and Seung realizes he is the last to arrive. He meets an elderly man who has a brain tumor and is unlikely to survive. A dispute arises when a thug beats the girl who once stole from Seung. Seung intervenes, hoping to reclaim his stolen money. Soon, masked figures enter the space and explain the rules of the game. There will be 6 games, and the winner will receive a large cash prize. Participants' phones and wallets will be returned after the first game. The masked leader warns them that they have all been filmed and they are deeply in debt. They can either choose to participate or leave. If the majority quits, the game will end. If they sign the contract, they agree to play and cannot stop unless they want to be eliminated. The first clause of the contract is that players must continue, and anyone who refuses to play will be eliminated. If the majority of players choose to stop, the game will end. After all the players sign the contract, they head to the players' hall, where they are photographed, and the game leader monitors everything. Seung's childhood friend, Sang, tries to talk to him but promises to explain later. They move into the game hall, where a large bride statue stands at the end of the hall, with a red ribbon drawn on the ground. The bride's head turns, and she begins crying. The players must run to the finish line, but they must freeze when she looks at them. When the bride turns her head and signals with a red light, the game starts, and everyone runs. However, the first player to move is eliminated with a gunshot. The others are horrified, realizing the bride has a motion sensor that detects movement. Chaos ensues as most players, out of fear, begin running, and everyone who moves is eliminated. The leader watches from above, enjoying the carnage until the game ends. After the massacre, the first person to move is an old man. The remaining players start running and freezing in turns. Seung falls but is saved by Ali, who grabs him and helps him. They manage to count together and the time runs out. The players who fail to reach the red line are killed, and the bodies are burned on an island in the middle of the sea. The remaining players are shocked by the brutal deaths. The work team enters, and the masked man informs them that only 21 players are left, and 255 have died. The remaining players protest and try to turn against the team until the masked man mentions the second rule, which says that any player who refuses to play will be eliminated. Sang points out the third rule, which states that if the majority of players choose to end the game, it will stop. The masked man agrees but shows them the piggy bank, now filled with money. Each deceased player's share is added to it. The total in the piggy bank amounts to 25,500,000,000 won, with the final prize being 45,600,000,000 won. The players are given a chance to vote. The voting begins, with green meaning to continue and red meaning to withdraw. Seong votes to withdraw and the players begin casting their votes. The old man, player number 1, votes to end the game, and the game ends. The masked officer tells them they can return home but are also allowed to rejoin the game later. Seong is informed about this opportunity and calls the police to report the events, but no one believes him. When he calls the number on the card he received, a woman answers and scolds him for calling too early. Meanwhile, a police officer named Hwang observes Seong and takes note of his card. Seong goes home and tries to contact his mother but finds she is not awake. After searching for her, he learns that she is in the hospital with diabetes and her condition has worsened. Her legs might need to be amputated if not treated soon, but she refuses to stay in the hospital because they can't afford the treatment. Seong promises to bring her the money she needs. Meanwhile, Officer Hwang has been investigating the disappearance of his brother, who went missing after not paying rent. Hwang finds the same card Seong had in the apartment and returns to the police station with Seong's information. The players' lives continue to spiral due to financial struggles. Ali, needing money, fights with his former manager over unpaid wages. The fight ends with the manager's hand getting caught in a machine, and Ali takes the money to his family. Sang, trying to reassure his mother, tells her that he's on a business trip in America and won't be back soon. His mother brags about his success, unaware of his criminal activity. Police investigators visit her, seeking information about her son's involvement in financial crimes. Sang decides to end his life, but before he can, a card from the Squid Game appears under his door with a date and place for a meeting if he wants to join again. It's from Seong-ho. He struggles to borrow money to help his mother, but fails. Meanwhile, the old man, who happens to be at a shop nearby, tells Seong that he's decided to rejoin the game, admitting that his life has become more painful than the game itself. He regrets his decision to leave. A card is distributed to all the players, and Seong-ho, desperate, goes to his ex-wife to borrow money for his mother's surgery. She refuses, claiming she doesn't have any, and asks him to leave before her husband arrives to avoid trouble. When her husband comes home with the kids, she tells him that Seong-ho just came to check on his daughter and is leaving. However, her husband confronts Seong-ho outside and gives him money, demanding that Seong-ho never return to see his daughter again. Seong-ho tries to argue, but is stopped by his ex-wife's husband, and as Seong-ho walks away, his daughter sees him being hit. Officer Hwang is outside, investigating the card Seong-ho has, which belonged to his missing brother, but Seong-ho refuses to speak to him. Hwang is told that Seong-ho is unworthy of help, and he leaves, while Seong-ho returns home to find a game card slipped under his door. Many former players, including Seong-ho, start to return to the game, waiting at a designated location. This time, Hwang is watching as Seong-ho boards a car with Kang, who managed to avoid the gas. Hwang follows them to a port where they board a ship. Kang, not sleeping, sneaks through a ventilation hole with a knife and explores the area. She learns about the sugar being melted in the kitchen, but soon returns to the bathroom to avoid being caught. The next day, Seong-ho and his team, including Ali and Sung-sang, who saved him, join the others in the game hall. The remaining 187 players are now competing for a prize worth 26.9 billion won. Seong-ho suggests that they team up, while others, like the thug, form their own alliances. Player 22, desperate for the bathroom, is eliminated after screaming too much. Kang uses her knife to open the ventilation hole and enters it, exploring the facility. Meanwhile, Hwang sleeps in the room designated for those who have been eliminated. He then joins the rest of the team and prepares breakfast, but Seong-ho refuses to drink milk, recalling his past. The old man, who seems to have suffered from similar hardships, suggests that Seong-ho might have been beaten by his father when he was young. As the second game approaches, one player receives a message with the details of the game. Seong-ho, behind Kang, asks her about what she saw the previous day. She reveals details about the sugar melting, and they all move to the game hall. 4 gates stand before them, each with a different shape, and Seung-ho suspects the shapes are connected to childhood sweets he remembers. He suggests they each pick different gates to avoid danger. Kang chooses the same gate as Seung-ho, and they are each handed a honeycomb candy, with a shape drawn on each one. The objective is to carve the shape out using a needle without breaking the honeycomb. Seung-ho gets the umbrella shape, which is the hardest. As players start to fail, the game becomes deadly. Seung-ho, nervous, sweats, and his sweat melts the sugar. He realizes he can use his tongue to soften the drawing and successfully carves it out. Meanwhile, the thug succeeds with help from player 212, who throws him a lighter to heat the needle. Those who fail are killed, but a player who strikes a guard takes his weapon and threatens to remove his mask. When the guard reveals himself as a young man, the player hesitates, but is killed by the leader, who also kills the young man. The remaining players, including Seung-ho's team, see the piggy bank fill with money as a result of the 79 players who have died. The prize rises to 34.8 billion won. During lunch, a fight breaks out over food, with some players taking more than their share. Player 271 fights with the bully and is killed. Seung-ho, tired of the violence, tries to reason with his team, but the number of players continues to shrink as the prize grows. Meanwhile, Officer Hwang uncovers a secret organ-selling operation within the game, involving player 111, who is a doctor, and 2 game team members. Seung-ho's team grows increasingly wary as the game escalates. With food in short supply, the doctor discovers that the leader deliberately limited the food to cause fights and eliminate weaker players before the next game. When the lights go out for sleep, the bully kills the woman who complained about the food. Chaos erupts, and players begin killing each other until the old man pleads with the leader to stop the madness. The team leader intervenes, and the killings cease, but the number of deaths is confirmed. Officer Hwang, disguised as a masked man, asks Seung-ho about his brother, An-ho, but Seung-ho says they don't know each other. In the calm that follows, Seung-ho suggests that they all share their names since they're on the same team, and the old man is pressured to reveal his. It's revealed that only 80 players remain. As the third game begins, the players are told they will be divided into groups of 10 for a team-based game. Seung-ho's team works to recruit strong members, while the thug betrays his girlfriend and forms his own team. The game chosen is Tug of War, played from a high platform. Seung-ho's team, facing a stronger group, starts off losing, but the old man encourages them, saying that strength alone won't win the game. They position themselves as he instructs, and when the opponent falters, Seung-ho's team pushes forward, ultimately winning. The thug's team, however, easily defeats a weaker group, resulting in their death when they fall from the platform. The second round sees Seung-ho's team facing another tough opponent, a group of strong men. The old man encourages them, teaching them to use strategy instead of raw strength. They manage to survive the initial phase, and with a final push, they win. The next round of the game will test their teamwork and resolve.